better. Our goal is to have the kind of team that nobody wants to play. And that means that we have to impose our will to dominate the competition all the time. It's all about what does it take to break you.
What's going on? Roll Tide, everybody. What's going on?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Hey, week 1 in the books. Texas hate week is here. Week is here. This time, no excuses for nobody. I don't want to hear no excuses. Like I said, last year, it was one of them things that we played in under Texas circumstances. But this year, they're coming to our home light. They're coming up under the light. So I feel like this is gonna be a different game. So, man, what's y'all thoughts on this game?
Well, I think first off, I'm a lot more confident after watching the offense and the way they played in the first week. I know it's Middle Tennessee State. I know that they're still going to be probably an 8-win team in their conference, but I'm a lot more confident with our offense going into this Texas game. I really do hope that Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt in this game, because I want to play a Texas that's 100%, so they don't have an excuse like you were just talking about. I want to play a team that's going to make us better at the end of the day, whether we win or lose. And I want to play 100% Texas. I don't want Alabama to have, or Texas fans to give the excuse. You hurt Colt, you hurt Quinn. That's how you won the game. Well, I want to just get at him this year. We already know what Quinn Ewers is going to do when he sees Dallas Turner coming off the corner. He may just go ahead and fall down rather than take the hit this year. But I'm excited. This Tuscaloosa is going to be bumping. There's going to be so many people here. I know, Josh, you and I have heard that Texas, there's going to be anywhere between 100 to 125,000 Texas fans in Tuscaloosa. So, there's probably going to be over 500,000 people in this town by Saturday. It's going to be an amazing sight to see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, really looking forward to it as well. Bryant Denny, we've had some good games, but I think this could be like an all-timer, just with, how highly projected these teams are. Both teams could be playoff teams. I think it's going to be our first big test. I think it is probably our biggest test this year. See if first game wasn't a fluke for Miller. I don't think it will be. I was really impressed with his confidence back there. It was complete. I was really surprised by everything. Other than the defense, I wasn't really surprised by it. We were really solid there. But I was expecting more of a run effort there, but it was really more the passing effort that really powered our offense, our scoring offense and stuff. Our running backs weren't as proliferant as I thought they would be. But, I think this is what this team is going to be about. It can attack you in many different ways. If Miller is not on passing, I think we can run the ball crazy. But, yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty confident, but it's going to be a pretty close game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Actually, I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I think for the beginning, I feel like Texas is going to play off of hype, momentum, and all that. But I feel like our team is going to eventually wear them down, man. I feel like we're going to wear them down. And what I seen Saturday, I seen that we can control the ball. We can control the tempo of the game. And I feel like that'll be key, because I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched the whole Texas and Rice game, but the little I saw, if we can get pressure to Quinn Ewers, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for him, because I seen Rice D-line was bringing pressure to him, and Nashville is hitting him. So, that's my thoughts about that, man. I think eventually the hype and stuff is going to wear away. Brian Denny is going to wear down on him. That stadium is going to be rocking, going crazy, in my opinion. And like I said, I feel like we'll pull away. I don't feel like it'll be – I feel like we're going to at least win by 10.
Yeah, Brian Denny is, an understated atmosphere. It's one of the toughest places to play, statistically wise. We've only lost 5 times since, 2008. So it's one of the toughest places to play for any of the country. It's going to be an environment for Texas to play. Texas fans are now on the upper deck. They're not going to be able to. The players aren't going to be able to hear their support as loud. That's a real strategic decision by Alabama. Props to Greg Byrne for that. But yeah, speaking of the pressures, I think Alabama probably needed a little more defensive line pressure. That was one area I would have liked to see a little more from. I didn't see Boyd or Otis get too much. But Chris Braswell had one of his best games, I think, at Alabama. he was all over the place. I think it felt like he was playing more than Dallas most of the time. I felt like I saw Braswell on the field more than Dallas the other weekend, and Quindarius Robinson had a really good game too. But I mean, if there's any player that stood out in that defense, it's Deontay Lawson. His pressure to come off. Playing all around. He can play up the middle, but he can also play that kind of Rashawn Evans role and be really versatile sideline to sideline. I just think our defense, top to bottom, if we're healthy, if we get Key back and Malachi back, I think we'll be pretty solid because, Kool-Aid's going to play. Some people thought he was banged up for a while, but I think Malachi being back is probably the biggest one we need back, especially because I think Christian Story did pretty well when he came in the other day. I thought Amos did well, and then Terrian did well at star when he played at star too. But Earl may be a bigger drop off than we originally thought. So I'm confident with the guys we got, but I'd like to see Malachi back. I think that's a full strength team. I'd like to see both teams 100% because this could be a really, really good game, as I alluded to.
Well, like you were saying, Nick Saban Jr., I do think by halftime, Texas will probably be in the lead. I think they're a team that they're going to come out and try to throw the ball early on. When we've seen the way Alabama tried to attack Middle Tennessee State, we ran the ball 30 times with running backs in that game. I think for a combined 123 yards. So I think that the way that the style Alabama is going to play this year is really going to affect the team, and the opposing defense is going to get tired, right? So as the game keeps going, you're just going to keep pounding the rock up the middle, kind of like we saw against Middle Tennessee State, and we're just going to tire out the opposing defense. I mean, watching Florida State, Louisiana State last night, that's kind of what happened with LSU's secondary. They just got tired out by the end of the game. You could tell they were really gassed. And I think that's what Alabama is going to do this year with the front sevens of opposing rosters. Just pound the rock so many times, have those big boys up front, pushing them back every play. I mean, this is going to tire them out. So I expect actually for Alabama to be down, whether 3 or 7 points at halftime. But I really do think this week, Alabama will probably come back and win this game. I wouldn't be surprised by 10, 7, 3. I think it'll be in between those numbers there. But I feel, like I said at the beginning of the show, I feel really confident about the way that we plan to attack Texas on offense, the way we're going to play defense against them. Even with the secondary troubles with Malachi and Key out, I liked what I saw from Story at the safety spot. Saban's talked about how reliable he's been, and even as a reserve player. I really liked what we did when we put Terry in at star. I think that gives us a lot of versatility at that position. We saw Earl struggled a little bit. He's still a young player. So I like having Trey Amos in the game as well as Terrion, who looked also like he knew what he was doing out there. We've heard great reviews from him throughout fall camp. So, I definitely expect to see, great defense against Texas and those running backs to go at it. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, that student section is going to be bumping. It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Sir.
Probably the best since 2019 LSU for sure, and I didn't get to witness that game. So this will probably be the best atmosphere I've witnessed as a student of Alabama, and I honestly can't wait.
Okay. So I'm going to ask y'all this. What ways do you see Texas can pull off this game? What ways do you see it happening if they win this, if they can pull this game out?
Well, I think first off, it's they're going to have to attack they're going to have to – what's that sound? What's that sound that he keeps making? Do y'all hear that? Oh, I got you. Okay. Well, I think first off, the way that we're going to have to attack them on offense, the way we're going to be attacking them, if they can take the run out of the picture and just make it to where Milroe throws the ball, I think that could be concerning. I think their secondary is a lot better than what people think it is, especially their front seven. So if they can constantly pressure Milroe and force some errant throws, force some turnovers, maybe a fumble or two, that's a way they can definitely stifle our offense from their defensive position. And then offensively for them, if they just continue to click on all cylinders in the passing game, I think that's they have probably the second best receiving room in the country behind Ohio State. I mean, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nair, Jordan Whittington. I mean, those guys, and Jatavian Sanders at the tight end position. Those are all guys that are absolutely insane at what they do. Quinn Ewers is a great quarterback. Obviously, I mean, he was a perfect recruit, 5-star out of high school. So they all got the talent to do it. They just got to put it together. And then I think another part of their game that no one really talks about is their running game. I mean, Cedric Baxter Jr., true freshman, is a dog. So I know they lost Bijan. I know they lost Roshan, but a lot of Texas fans think they got better depth-wise at running back. Their offensive line last year was very young, and now they're a little bit more experienced, bringing back a couple of true freshmen that started last year, now as sophomores. So I think it's a lot more viable than most people think. I mean, the one thing that I think they're going to have to deal with is the crowd factor and Bryant Denny. I mean, that's something not a lot of people talk about it as a huge environment. A lot of people will say LSU, but I think that crowd is going to be something to witness on Saturday, and they're going to have to, communicate through all that noise. But if they can force turnovers and continue to attack and take the ball downfield fast, then I think they're going to probably win the game.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think turnovers are the biggest thing. If you just look at the last two losses in Bryant Denny for Alabama, 2019 LSU Tua had a fumble early on. Alabama came back but threw a pick before halftime. That really flipped the script. LSU got like a pretty big lead at half of that game, and really made it tough for Alabama to come back in that game. And then 2015 LSU, not LSU, no, Ole Miss. 2015 Ole Miss, like 5 turnovers that game, both on special teams and offense. So Alabama's really got to be tight with ball security. I thought Miller looked a lot better. I think his confidence is a big thing. He spoke really well. I feel like he's prepared for this. I think it will be a close game, but I think in order to win, Sark's got to be really dynamic on offense. He's got the weapons, but I think our defense has the tools to do it. I don't know if he's going to use as much motion. I know he loved to use motion at Alabama, but as much motion as Alabama saw against Middle Tennessee State, that team was flying sideline to sideline every play of the game with pace too. Sark's going to have a game plan. It's just whether they can execute it, to the level they have to beat Alabama. I just think turnovers had to be a big deal, but
Yeah, well, and that was my thing. Yes, the opportunities they can't miss on the opportunities, because I still think Quinn Ewers is quite a bit inconsistent, but when he's on. So what Quinn Ewers are we gonna get? That's my question. What depends if we get that Quinn Ewers from last season when they played us, it can be a long game. But if we can get pressure, if we can hit him a couple times, get him riled up, I think we can throw him off our game. But if we get the Quinn Ewers from last season, I think it can be a long game. And
this is going to be one of the most fun wide receiver cornerback matchups of the year. I think Terrian has really solidified himself as a potential draft pick at corner. And Kool-Aid's the best cornerback in the country. And then Texas got some good receivers in Worthy and Mitchell. So it's going to be a real test, and we'll see how really good both these teams are at those positions, in which team's going to have some significant improvements that could be exposed later in the season. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real big test for Alabama's defense and limiting the explosive plays from Texas's offense that Ewers had pretty good success with last year before having to go out.
Well, Josh texted me during the game on Saturday and said that the energy of this team and just the look of it looks completely different than it did last year, and you could feel that inside Bryant Denny. You could see that when they were warming up in their faces. I mean, it just feels a lot different. I mean, Josh, I'm kind of speaking for you there, because that's what you told me. But I feel it too, and I didn't think I would feel this good about the team, especially after Middle Tennessee State. I mean, I said on my podcast that I don't think this game matters too much whether we cover the spread, which was 39, or we go past the spread, which we did. So there was just something about the energy that we were playing with. Even when we were up 49-7, I mean, you could tell those guys were still getting after it. And I really love to see that, especially from the group that didn't start the game, and that was kind of a point Saban was trying to make by not releasing the depth chart. We don't really want those guys to think they're less than what they truly are, because they're subjected to a depth chart. So I liked everything I saw. I mean, even the touchdown that Middle Tennessee State had, it was kind of a pick play almost. Earl Little just missed a tackle. But I'm telling you, I really feel good about this game. I don't know. And on Sunday, I could be looking back at this conversation and I could be completely wrong. I mean, we could go out there and lose. I think if we are to lose a game in the regular season this year, this is the one to lose. You want to lose early,
Yeah.
and you want to lose to a good team, obviously, because I feel like the committee towards the end of the year has the "What have you done for me lately?" Mindset. And like, let's say we were to lose to Auburn, that's much more significant losing to Auburn than it would be to Texas, who's a much better team, and we lost to them early on in the year. So I mean, I honestly could see this game going both ways. It's going to be very close. So we're in for a really good one on Saturday.
Just to speak to that
Yeah.
mentality too, I was before the game goes on. We stand by the gate, see all the players warm up and all that. The first sign I knew it was going to be just something that like gave me a precursor. I saw Fedarian Mathis, and if you ever watched Fedarian Mathis on the sideline, he was one of the most pumped up defensive linemen I've ever seen. He was up there like those 2016 defenses. He wasn't on them, but he was like a testament to those throwback defenses, and he was just one of the most fun players to watch because it was like he was having fun. He was playing with intensity. He mentored Will. I think he was a big player in Will's development. And then the way they came out there, dude, it was like almost they were all clashing heads, together. Like they were just so ready to go out there and hit someone in the face, even though it was Middle Tennessee State that did that to Kool-Aid twice. But you know what I mean? Just really came out with some good intensity. And another thing, actually, before the Fedarian thing, when they took their warm-ups about 9 minutes before kickoff, the offensive line, everyone except Seth, and it was the starting five, but Seth was replaced with Ferguson. They were walking around, and I swear it was Ferguson and Dalcourt next to each other. They had the meanest look on their face, and I was like, oh, my God. This group is serious. It just feels like a different team this year. Last year just felt like a Bryce and Will team at points, and I think we've really learned that over the offseason. This feels like an all joint effort, and these guys buying in. And I think we're going to have that against Texas because Texas is a real good football team.
Hey, before we move any farther, Sutton, can you let everybody know about your podcast and where they can find you at, man?
Yeah, so me and one of my buddies from high school, Jake Osteen, a student at the University of Georgia, we just started a little podcast that we do twice a week. It's called Just Saying with Jake Osteen and Sutton Smith. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. And we really talk about, obviously we emphasize the University of Alabama and University of Georgia. Both of us go to school at our respective colleges at those two places. But we also talk about college football more on a broad note, with a little bit of an emphasis on the SEC as well. But actually going to drop a show tomorrow, so y'all stay tuned for that. But yeah, Apple Podcasts and YouTube, Just Saying.
And if y'all can find it on my community page on YouTube, I have it posted. You can just scroll down a little bit, and I have it posted, so you can click it. Please go subscribe to the channel. Georgia fans, Alabama fans. You got a student from the University of Alabama and a student from the University of Georgia. And it's good. It's good. If you like real football talk, it's good. I'm telling you.
And hopefully we'll get Nick Saban Jr. and Josh on there sometime be some guests to the show later on. We'll see. We'll see what we got.
So my next question is, how do y'all think Texas defense will come and attack our offense? How do you think they would come there with mindset? Do you think they will come out with the mindset of let's make Miro beat us with the arm, or do you think they're going to respect the arm talent after the little they saw from him Saturday?
I think they're going to challenge him early on, primarily just because they know they have a little more talent at cornerback and coverage skills than Middle Tennessee State. They're going to challenge him. They're not just going to let him, stand back there with a clean pocket and give him a chance to run 20 seconds later. We saw what happened when they tried to put a spy out there. Tyler Booker's going to flatten them if they give him too much time. But I think they're going to try to challenge Milo early on, and blitz, and it's going to force him to make some big plays. But once he makes those plays, I really think he can open up with the run game, get that balance in. I think Saban was really happy with the balance we had. A lot of runners getting about equal yards almost. I mean, it was really evenly spread in yards-wise, from 1 to 5. So, Texas is going to have to bring some pressure, I think, early on. To assert themselves in the game. You don't want to be playing from behind in Bryant Denny. You'll be playing against the crowd. You want to be able to silence the crowd early and then their offense is going to have to come up strong too. So I think that's Sark knows how to win in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So we'll just see. I think he's going to try to bring guns blazing early.
Yeah, I definitely expect an aggressive game plan defensively from Texas to start off. A lot of stunts, a lot of multiple blitzes, formations, maybe even some safety blitzes and some corner blitzes, kind of to throw off Milrow. I think that'd be something smart if they wanted to do that. And depending on how he plays in the first quarter, passing wise, and kind of what we call, because to start this past week, it was a lot of quick throws, a lot of out routes, a lot of skinny little curls, and he wasn't throwing the ball downfield much to start the game. Really, to the 2 minute mark in the second quarter when he hit Isaiah Bond. But I think they'll kind of start off that, see what happens, and if it continues to work, they'll continue doing it. But if Milrow hits a few deep balls, I think they'll probably play a little bit more passive, kind of go nickel, maybe dime. I don't really expect much dime, but definitely could see a lot of nickel, a little bit of zone coverage there towards the end of the game. We'll just see what happens. I do think they'll try to neutralize the running backs early on and just see what they can do if they can contain Milrow in the pocket and just let him throw from the pocket. Because I still think I think he's gotten much better at passing from the pocket, but he only saw it against Middle Tennessee State. Now he'll have to go up against some real corners. Obviously not the best corners in college football, but some very good corners that Texas has, and very quality guys. We'll see how he does doing it that way.
Hey, Nick, let me ask you, how much more fun was it to watch that Tommy Rees offense compared to last year? I had a blast in there watching that game.
It was everything that I wanted. It was everything I expected. Listen, we ran the ball, boy. We obviously put emphasis on running the ball. We seen the tight ends. Amari Black, that dude is gonna be good, man. That dude is gonna be good. Isaiah Bond is a grown man. It was everything I wanted.
But when he flattened that guy, oh God.
Oh yes, on the sideline. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. So I wanted to switch over to the offensive side of the ball. And you know me, I'm an offensive lineman guy. What did y'all think of Darian Dalcourt play? I wasn't too happy about Darian Dalcourt play. I seen him get pushed around and bullied a couple times.
Now, I will say, and I think Saban talked a little bit about this in the post-game presser, they were bringing a lot of different sonic blitzes in. So that's just a different type of blitz formation that a lot of the big FBS schools don't use, but mainly because the Middle Tennessee State defensive front is a lot smaller than the typical FBS.
Yeah. So
they don't really have guys pushing 300 pounds. They're more like in the 280s, 290s. So they're smaller guys. They're tougher to get their hands on. They're quicker. So I'm not going to say that I was not impressed because I know what Dalcourt can do. I mean, he's a big-year guy. He's been here a long time. We know what he's capable of, especially at the center position where we've seen him play more. But I did think overall when Ferguson came in and played right guard, the offensive line looked much better. Now, could that have been because of it being later in the game and the Middle Tennessee State defensive front being more tired and lackadaisical? Possibly. But all I know is what I saw, and I saw when Ferguson was in there that we looked better. And then also you got to look at this from a fundamental standpoint. If Dalcourt's not in there playing guard, we've got the back. He can play back. He could be the backup center right on the bench, and then you don't really have to shift the offensive line as much if something were to happen to Seth. And I mean, and we saw Seth snap a few bad balls. If that continues to be a problem, I don't expect it to be a problem. But if that continues to be a problem, you got to ask the question: how much longer is Saban going to let this go on for? Because that touchdown that Milrow scored on that fumbled snap, that he's the only person in college football that can do that. I think if that happened again, I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would be the outcome. I think it was just really good circumstance in that situation that he was able to even get outside the tackles on that and have a chance to score a touchdown. So you got to ask yourself that question. So, I mean, I think we're obviously in a great spot when you talk about the O-line. But, Josh, I don't know what you thought, but I definitely thought when 69 was in there, the O-line looked a little bit better.
Yeah, there was a rough point. I think after we scored our second touchdown, so that would have after Jace's touchdown, there was like the last few minutes of the first quarter, and until we scored again in the third, there was a rough few points on offense and defense too. They were moving the ball pretty well, converting few first downs, but the offensive line was getting to the quarterback at decent point. So I was kind of thinking to myself like, have we JC up to 360, Proctor being listed at 370 on TV. Booker went up. And Booker. These guys, is this going to favor a pass pro offense? Are we going to be able to protect our guys in pass pro? I'll give Dalcourt some leniency. Pretty sure it's his first start ever at guard. Recruited as a center, played center for a while. And snaps have been a problem for the last three centers. Dalcourt had a problem snapping the ball. Seth had a problem, this past week. And then Chris Owens had a problem snapping the ball. So, I mean, that's something that's got to get fixed. I didn't think I thought Proctor looked good. I thought Latham looked good. I thought Booker looked really well. I was just a little disappointed with, I'd say, Seth and Dalcourt of the two. I thought originally the one where Jam got blew up too, that was Dalcourt let him through, but that was just a linebacker blitz. But I won't put that on Dalcourt. But rewatching the game, I wasn't as disappointed with Dalcourt as I was watching it live because you can see things a little better. But he's certainly someone that I don't think his job. Saban said we have 6 starters, and we know who the 6th guy is. 6 or 7, and the 6th guy is Ferguson. So I think Dalcourt's certainly the first one to be pulled if anything happens, and he's got to like Saban said, this depth chart isn't final. So I mean, you got to prove yourself. I mean, Kendall Randolph I think was still playing guard against Texas last year, and we know he didn't finish in the lineup last year. So I think it's really just about stacking good performances, and it's going to be a big week for Dalcourt to see if he can play guard at a high level against not only Texas but just SEC competition down the road.
And I know that Nick Saban Jr. was watching it on TV, so he probably had a much better angle than we did just watching. But going back and watching the game, Nick, I don't know if you noticed, but our running backs did not look great in pass pro.
No.
And that led to a few of the sacks or tackles for loss.
Yep.
So, I noticed that going back and watching the game and listening to comments about it. A guy that I've talked about a lot on the show, Roydell Williams, being really getting pass pro. I don't think it was on him. I think it was mainly Jace when Jace was in. He was having trouble in pass pro. But you can't always put it all on the O-line. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yep.
And tight end as well. I mean, I think CJ and Danny may have missed one guy that kind of got a quarterback hurry in on Milrose. So it's not all just on those big boys.
I will say they brought pressure from a lot of different angles. I mean, it was tough. I think Clint Lamb posted a video. I didn't see it live. They had a 220-pound linebacker. He posted us on Twitter. He blitzed, and he timed it so perfectly. He flattened 370-pound Caden Proctor. And I was just like, I didn't see this live. I think they did a really good job game planning. They brought a lot of different looks, I think, and challenged our offensive line, which is good. You want to be challenged. You don't want it to look all perfect and then get exposed later in the season. Let's see the problems and iron them out through the season.
And the reason why I wanted to bring it up because I know with Coach Bo Davis, I know his emphasis with that defensive line over at Texas. He's seen that, so I feel like he's gonna come with the stunts to try to rattle Jalen Milroe early, and we're gonna see how if he gets rattled, we're gonna see how he plays under that pressure because Milroe was never in the situation where he had where he felt like his back was against the wall.
A&M, his back was against the wall. They're about to pull. Exactly.
But what we seen last year from Texas, I was overly impressed last year with Texas defense. I didn't expect that from Texas defense, and with this game, I feel like they're gonna come out with the same intensity, So. Yes, but I agree. It wasn't always on the offensive line because I know I seen a play with Jam Miller. You brought it up. When Jam Miller got freaking taken out, I'm like, come on, we got to do better than that.
Yeah. And also Texas, I think I didn't mention it, but I think penalties, I think we were good on penalties. Didn't have any on offense, I think. The one on special teams got neutralized, and then 2 on defense, I think. So I thought it was a real solid day. Texas last year was one of the worst. The first 2 games, I think Utah State we had 16, and then we had 15. So if we can be consistent, and limit the penalties. I think that's going to be a big emphasis, also limiting turnovers. But yeah, we can't be as indisciplined we were last year. I mean, Will had his most indisciplined game ever. I was thinking, what is going on? But yeah, we're gonna be challenged. Yeah.
And it's going to be much better that we're going to be playing at home. I mean, I was at that environment last year in Texas, and it was an insane environment to play at. And we know the recent Alabama, whether that's still true with this team or not, the recent Alabama hasn't been the same on the road. So having this game at home and having most of our big games at home this year is very important to this team. I mean, I think our toughest road game is either A&M or Auburn. And, arguably those two teams could be middle of the pack in the SEC West.
Or lower, yeah.
Yeah, so I very fortunate the way the schedule kind of wound up for us this year. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. But another thing I wanted to highlight real quick, and I don't know how you guys felt about this, but after the first half, I was sitting there talking with some of my buddies, and this was obviously right after Milroe's deep ball to Bond in the corner of the end zone, right about 2 minutes left in the game. Before that pass, he had thrown a low pass to Kobe Prentice that was incomplete that a lot of people wanted to scrutinize. But they really weren't throwing the ball deep downfield. They had one where he was sacked. They had a couple fly routes downfield, but he was sacked. He couldn't get the throw off. But it just felt to me so much different than the A&M game. I thought he was managing the game almost perfect. He was making the correct reads at the line of scrimmage. I mean, there was a few where he should have checked out of plays that I think Coach Saban mentioned in the conference afterwards. And I know, I think Josh, you and me talked about. Where J.C. Latham got bull rushed pretty much by two guys off the edge, and he kind of looked at Milroe like this after the play.
And he told him what he needed to do.
Yeah, why didn't you check out of that? I mean, besides that, the low throw to Prentice and that, I thought he played an almost perfect first half of football. I mean, just getting the team in the right checks, hanging the ball up when you're supposed to, taking it back, good throws out to the perimeter on out routes. I mean, he just looked like a game manager. And against Texas A&M, he did not look that comfortable and poised in the pocket. He looked a lot more skittish, and he was getting through progressions. I mean, it was like I saw in one play, it was 1-2, okay, check down, 1-2-3, check down. He looked like a quarterback that was completely well-rounded. We've been hearing about all this controversy and about how he couldn't do some of the stuff right. So yeah, no one's going to be Bryce, but. He looked like a daggone good quarterback out there to me, and I really can't watch him go against a big defense, good or bad. I'm ready to see what he truly is capable of.
Yeah, I think I think last year, I think just things, I think there's a point maybe this offseason or sometime things clicked for him because, his arm strength was always something that was discussed, but you really didn't see him, happen. You saw one in the spring game last year to Christian Leary, which was a really good deep ball. But last year his timing was really off. I think that was the thing. But looking back at some of those throws, it's kind of like Joe Milton. I mean, he doesn't have the arm strength of Joe Milton. Not many quarterbacks do. But like he's not even like rearing back to throw. Like, I mean, it's pretty flat footed. He's got a real strong arm. And those throws to Nyblack, Bond, Burton were good. The Malik one was the only I don't even have a problem with that Prentice throw. I think the one to Malik could have been a little better. It looked like he underthrew it, but I think Malik got pushed, shoved a little over, and the route was, their defender did a good job at defending that. But I thought Miller was, really, really solid. I mean, it was one of the most probably improved quarterback performances I've seen from game to game. So, I mean, what was the last game we saw him last year playing?
I mean, he bounced a pass like 5 yards in front of a receiver in the Kansas State game. I think that was the last pass of 2022 as a bounce pass. I mean, so yeah, I thought he looked much better too.
Hey, shut the lights. I got you tonight when the game over with. I'm gonna talk about Clemson tonight after the game over with.
Hey, you think Riley Leonard from Alabama's got a chance, or do you think it's all Clemson?
So what?
You think it's all Clemson, or you think Duke's got a chance?
I don't know, man. I want to say Clemson, but I know Duke got like 18 players returning or some crap like that.
Hey, we've sseen some crazy stuff. I mean, Baylor got upset by TJ Finley.
TJ Finley,
the reigning a team in the playoff last year lost to a team that was 1-11. So crazy stuff has happened. So I mean, I predict Clemson to win, but I just this week.
Yeah,
some really good games this week.
That's why I said I bring up that one point. I know Duke got like 18 players returning, so hey, you never know.
My upset prediction didn't go this week. I was getting a little cocky, thinking UMass had a chance after last week, and that did not go well. I went bold, but yeah.
Well, I was on the Buffs from the beginning, so I'll say that worked out for me. But
dude,
yeah, it didn't work out.
So good.
So this receiver room, we seen Jermaine Burton look good.
Oh yeah.
We seen
Kobe.
Isaiah Bond look good. I like the Kobe Prentice as well. But what we didn't see is Ja'Cory Brooks start the game.
Hey, all flashbacks to what Duke 2019, when half our running back room was suspended for not going to a movie, and we had Jerome Ford starting there. I mean, Jerome Ford's in the NFL now, so I mean, props to him. But I mean, Najee was out, B-Rob was out. Was Keelan out, or I don't even know who was RB3. If Jerome Ford was RB3 that year,
I think Jerome Ford was RB3 that year, or he was at least to start the season.
Yeah, so we were out with a lot of players.
He fumbled, and we seen him no more.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's things that happen. I mean, it's weird. I thought Ja'Cory was a shoe-in to start last year. And I would have thought that at the start of any point in the season. Like I thought he was there were points where I thought in the offseason I thought Burton was going to be wide receiver 6. So much has changed in this room. Like now I'm thinking Bond's going to be wide receiver 1 for the year just off that performance and how electric he can be. He showed he can take the top off the defense. I thought Prentice was going to be the underappreciated guy, and I think he showed that this week. Law didn't get many reps, and Malik was kind of they were running a lot of sets where when it was 3 receiver sets, they'd have 2 of the slot guys. So they had Prentice and Bond at the same time, and they had Burton. So a lot of the times Malik would be off and Law wouldn't get in. So yeah, I'm pretty optimistic. I think Ja'Cory will break out sometime. I think he is. I think he's shown he can be our most reliable go-to guy. I mean, it took him 6 games to start last year. Trayshawn Holden got the start over him, started well, and Ja'Cory came along, later in the year. And I think we know Ja'Cory's potential. It's just whether he can piece it all together. It just seems like I don't know if it was he missed a team meeting or something, but Saban wasn't going to say. But hopefully he can get stuff right, and because I know he can be a big contributor this year. And he knows the standard. He's the veteran. He's a veteran in that room.
Well, Ja'Cory's already cemented his legacy at Alabama with that catch in the Iron Bowl in 2021.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and that catch against Kansas State.
Yeah.
The 2021 Iron
Bowl, there's no comparison. I mean, I'll remember that forever. Whether he finishes his career at Alabama well or not, that catch will live on in many Alabama fans' minds throughout the rest of their time here on this planet. So, I mean, that's one of my favorite memories of my lifetime at Alabama is that catch. So
I'm gonna ask y'all right now. Starting with you, Josh. Give me your prediction on how you think this game goes.
Yeah, I think I think Sutton said it too, but I think it's gonna be a 1-score game. I think there's gonna be offense from both teams. I'm going 38-31 Bama. I don't think I think if Texas does have a chance, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be late. I don't think they're going to blow us out by the waters by any means if they do have a chance to win this game. But yeah, I think it's going to be Alabama 38-31. I think we're going to see it's going to be. I think it's going down to the wire. It's not going to be like we're up 38-24 and Texas scores a late one. I think it's going to be down to the wire, and someone's going to have to make a big play, make a big kick, something like that. So I'm going 38-31. I'm not going to do yards or prediction or anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I think that Texas will probably be up at halftime. I think that the halftime score will probably be 17-14. But I think Alabama finishes strong, comes out with a win in this game. So I'll go. Let's see, we'll go Texas 24, Alabama 35. Texas.
I like that.
35.
What'd you say? Texas what?
35-24, Alabama.
Okay.
And it's funny because Eric D put my exact score that I have 38-23. That's my exact score.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so I think Texas will come out firing on all cylinders, throwing the ball, but I think we'll make the necessary adjustments at halftime, and both on offense and on defense, come out and score and come out and defend that pass.
So I just think I think we get one more. I think we get more stops than them. I think we get that one key stop, and of course, I think a field goal probably is separate us somewhere in the mix of that or something like that. Like,
Yeah, we need Will Riker to start making kicks. We need him to break the points record. He can't just do it with extra points.
yeah, exactly.
Unless he score 106 extra points this year.
We could score a bunch of touchdowns. Be nice.
I was happy to see Connor Talkie kick too. He was making some.
Oh
good
yeah,
runs
I was happy for that. I'm very happy for that.
Burnip was the MVP of special teams. He's improved so much. It's unreal.
That's gonna be another key too. If they make a stop, can we pin them back and give our defense that momentum at some point in the game? And like you said, he was a special teams MVP. He was booting. Like, he wasn't booting like that last year. He was booting the ball this year. I mean, Saturday. He has gotten better. I know the offseason talks have been about him getting better. Like, his bad kicks look better, his good kicks look better. So I witnessed that Saturday. I will say that.
Hey, Nick, how do we go 40 minutes without mentioning Kendrick Blackshire? What a performance, man.
Ooh, that was a nice takeaway. I was proud of the kid.
Dude, I was like, I looked on and I was like, what's Blackshear in here for? I mean, I saw on the depth chart in the program he was listed. I was like, okay. And then he came in for Marshall and he looked good. He looked really, really good when I saw him play.
I agree. I like y'all mentioned some story. I like the way he came out of play. Now he looked very, like, if he had to come in and play, like, be a starter, I'm confident in Christian's story right now, because he really looked like he knew what was going on. He was flying to the ball, making plays. I really liked it in that kid, man.
And Caleb Downs is as advertised, I think.
He is that guy. He's him.
He's only going to get better. So
yeah, and he
week.
wasn't too immature to. They had a guy deep open, and he ran back, and I was like, oh god, that guy's going to score a touchdown. Instead of trying to play the ball, dude, he played the player and made sure there was no way that guy was catching it. And his intelligence, I think Saban alluded to, but his intelligence and his football IQ for this age is so fun to watch. Keith Holcomb in the chat.
Hey, I've been wondering the same thing, bro.
Wow.
So we got a little bit more time. Y'all want to recap some of these games that went by this weekend, man?
Yes,
well, I think we have to start off in TCU, Colorado.
No. Let's slander the Gators.
Slander
the Gators.
They suck.
They suck.
Dude, I think, man, I don't understand how. Did y'all think
Graham Mertz does not deserve number 15?
Okay, hold up. Graham Mertz did not play that bad, dude. He has nobody around him but Ricky Pearsall. That is all he has.
Hey,
and the two
what's
running
his
backs.
name? ETN's good.
And the two running backs, Johnson Jr. and ETN. But, I mean, that dude what made my heart so happy was seeing Damian George absolutely suck. That could not have made my day any better.
Yeah, don't ever say Florida's got the talent of Alabama.
Not that, Keith. Oh, dang. That's tough. But, no, I mean, Florida's O-line sucked. Their defense sucked. I actually don't think Graham Mertz is that bad. But I mean, you can't run the ball and you have a terrible O-line. If you got no time to throw the ball and you got nobody to throw the ball to, you're not going to succeed. So that's kind of what I think about that game.
Hey, I agree with you on that, man. Like, Mertz wasn't that bad, but that team, nothing around them poorly coached. And when I'm gonna say poorly coached is, you get players out there with the same number on at the field at the same time. That's coaching. What are y'all doing over there? I was saying, Sunbet Billy, you better get it together, because you're gonna be looking for another job if you don't get it together. Wow. And it's funny that even me knowing Cam Rising wasn't starting and they was gonna play a third string quarterback, and they had so many other guys out, I still picked Utah to win the game.
Yeah, I picked the Gators to win that game. I thought I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid, I guess per se, but yeah, I won't be doing that much longer the rest of the year. That's for sure.
But let's see
Colorado.
the
Hey, other than Shadur and Travis Hunter and Edwards stealing the show, let's talk about Trey Sanders, the Heisman frontrunner. 3
let's talk about
touchdowns. Clap it up for Trey Sanders in the chat right here. 3 touchdowns, carrying TCU. RB1, Heisman winner, Trey Sanders.
Heisman winner.
Too bad he's not even the best. Too bad he's not even the best running back on his own team.
3 touchdowns, he kept him in the game.
Dude, the other guys had like 180 yards rushing. Trey Sanders.
It doesn't matter. He didn't find the end zone.
Trey Sanders is their red zone back, so he should have more touchdown rushes than the other guy. But I mean, I think one guy that no one's really talking about from that Colorado team is Dalen Edwards. And that guy.
I just said him.
Well, I'm just saying nationally. Like all you hear is shitters. All you hear is Travis Hunter. I mean, Dalen Edwards, lightning fast guy. I mean, didn't do much in the rushing game, but in the passing game, he was unreal. And I mean, obviously Shadur, I didn't think he was gonna. I mean, I thought Colorado would win the game. I didn't necessarily think Shadur Sanders was going to throw for 500 yards though.
Yeah, so, they're running that fast-heavy offense.
His transition from the FCS to the FBS has been almost seamless, and I'm saying if I'm available to watch every Colorado game this year, they'll probably be the one that's on my TV, especially this Saturday when they're playing Nebraska. We'll definitely be watching that game.
They're going to whoop them. I think they're going to.
Nebraska's going to have a much better defense. I still think it's going to be a close game. I think Colorado by like 10, but Nebraska doesn't really have an offense. Colorado didn't have a defense, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I did a video about Colorado, and I mentioned I was talking about Dalen Edwards because he had that fumble, but he bounced back and he made up for that one fumble. So I talked about it. I let it be known. Hey, I did that video. That thing got like 3.2K views too, man. I was like, wow.
Oh wow!
Congratulations. There you go.
Yeah,
you're getting it.
Hey, Prime Train. Hey, I'm just so glad he did not go to the barn because he would have pulled it in every recruit. Probably wouldn't have James Smith and Quay Russaw. Ryan Williams probably wouldn't be committed because stars want to play for him. Stars want to play for him, and that's why. Yeah, Freeze is a good recruiter, but he doesn't have the pool that Prime would have at Alabama. Like Prime would probably be almost sweeping the state of Alabama for some of those players just to play with Prime.
Hey, I'm gonna throw something out there. Prime to Florida Gators to Gainesville.
Would he do that to FSU?
He wouldn't do that to Florida State. He wouldn't do that.
He said he's not a product of FSU because he didn't graduate there.
Yeah, they did it.
I don't know.
They did it to him first.
I think now I agree with you. In 2-3 years, I think he'll be in the SEC. I think he'll at least stay at Colorado 2 years. But man, if Jimbo doesn't get this turned around, Deion go to Texas A&M.
Bagman looked good.
Another spot that you could put Deion at, Missouri. That'd be an underrated spot. When they had Gary Pinkel, they were really good in two SEC championship games when they first entered the conference. So I definitely think Missouri's another underrated spot for him. But what about if Nick Saban retires in the next 2 or 3 years? If we win a natty or two, is Deion Sanders at Alabama a thing?
Hey, that was my second thought.
I'm
not adding anyone to my coaching list.
Let's say here's another thought: if Nick Saban retires and we hire Lane Kiffin, like I think we will, does Deion go to Ole Miss?
Hey, I'm not adding anyone to my coaching list because I recently added Shane Beamer, and then he goes out and loses to North Carolina by worse than I thought they would. So the first call is not to Deion. The first call has to be Kirby. Even if he denies us, you have to try to go get Kirby.
Kirby is not leaving his.
I know, but you got to try. You got to try. He is the first call you have to make.
Here's my question to you, Nick Saban Jr. I'm gonna give you 3 guys, okay? I want you to tell me who you'd rather have as your head coach. Okay, Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer, or why I just lost him. Who's the other guy I was thinking of?
Deion.
No. Dabo Sweeney. Dabo Sweeney. Those
Dabo.
two.
Oh, Lane Kiffin.
Dabo over Lane Kiffin?
Dabo.
I would have Lane Kiffin.
I want to win.
Dude, no, I do not want Dabo. I want Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I would take Lane Kiffin over Dabo.
I don't think
I
Dabo.
like Lane more, but I want I want Dabo.
No.
I think he understands. I think you got to have someone that understands the culture of Alabama. Like when Saban came into Alabama, he knew about Gene Stallings. He knew about Bear Bryant. Lane probably knows, but he doesn't know like Dabo does. Dabo has that strong connection to Gene. He obviously knows about Bear. He's got that. We've had our ups and downs, but I think Dabo would be my second or third call if I were in Burns' shoes when Saban leaves, which could be 5 to 10 years from now.
I'm looking at Lane. I feel like
he's got to win. He's got to win.
Recruits himself, but Lane at Alabama, I think he will be a whole lot better, even better recruiter at Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
you wouldn't have to dig into the transfer portal as much because you're at a premier program.
Yeah,
and he's already a great recruiter.
He doesn't like recruiting. He doesn't go out. He's not the big. He's okay. He's
not. Ole Miss. You don't have. If you're doing transfer portal, you don't have to do as much work out of the transfer portal as you do when you're recruiting a kid out of high school. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a wait and see type of deal. But I mean, I think he'd be great. I think that not only. I mean, you're losing Saban, yes, but man, Lane Kiffin could really rejuvenize the fan base after losing someone like Nick Saban. I mean, just the way his personality is, it's just so different. And I'm not saying we need someone completely different than Nick Saban, but I would think it's good to have someone with maybe a different attitude rather than just trying to replicate the Saban attitude immediately.
I wonder if they make that call to D'Amico. I don't know if he would.
I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right with D'Amico.
We'll see how he does as head coach with the Texans. But,
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see. But I like D'Amico, Alabama guy. He gonna be strong headed on that defense, so we know we're gonna have a tight defense with D'Amico if he come. And I feel like he could probably bring some more of these Alabama guys. Like,
how do you feel about Rich Rodriguez though? You like Rich Rodriguez?
No, Rich Rodriguez will stay where he at.
Rich as the offensive coordinator
in 2007. I actually was happy about this. like before Saban came, I actually was like, "Oh, we getting the West Virginia Rich Rodriguez." I was actually happy about that.
Oh man, What about Jim McElwain?
Absolutely.
No, stay where you at. No, I don't want your offense that's outdated. I don't want none of that.
What about like Cristobal or Mel Tucker?
For offensive line,
you gotta win. You gotta win. That's why I'm reluctant on Wayne. Have we got any other games we want to talk? I saw parts of LSU, Florida State, and I saw parts of Ole Miss.
I seen that embarrassment last night, Florida State, and they straight up bullied LSU. But it was a good old fashioned football game in the beginning, all the way to the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's when LSU got gas. They started putting two backs in the backfield, and LSU didn't know what to do with it because they was getting hit in the mouth. They got out physical. This dude Coleman from where was he from?
Oh yeah, Keon Coleman, Kansas. Was he at Kansas?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. That's exactly. Yeah. But this guy was
Kansas high school,
ridiculous last night.
Oh yeah, he's good. Did y'all by chance? I know you just mentioned Ole Miss, but did y'all by chance see the first play of the game for Ole Miss, the Mercer game?
Oh yeah, shootout Golden.
75-yard screen pass.
75.
Yeah, 75. First play of the game, 75-yard touchdown on a screen pass to the running back. I like to call that the Pete Golden special.
Hey, they won 73-7, so I mean, or whatever.
But, I know, but what Lane Kiffin said to him in the headset was probably one of the funniest things I've heard in a press conference in a while. So we paid a lot of money for you, Pete, for you to suck this bad. First play of his Ole Miss career, going off for 75 yards in the flat. We still couldn't cover the flat on Saturday, so we still got some Pete Golding ideas lingering, I guess, in Tuscaloosa. So we need to get that out.
Hey, more on LSU. I saw they were playing Harold Perkins at inside backer instead of
Yes.
He's the best, I got arguably the best edge player in the country. Him and Dallas are arguably two of the best.
I got an LSU guy. Actually, he came on live with me last night after the game. But we was talking about it all summer that he told me that they moved him inside linebacker, and he did not like that at all. And what I told him last night, I said, they need to revert back to let him play on the edge, let him do what he do because he was hidden last night. He was nowhere to be found last night.
Yeah, he's a real good player if you use him right. Hopefully they play him inside against us.
Hey, what do y'all think about Cliff Kingsbury?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think he's got any more. Dude, that dude is set for life. I think you got to have someone motivated. And the thing with the Saban job, you got to have someone that's willing to take that job because you're filling in the shoes for the greatest coach of all time. Lane would do it. Is a thing. I don't think Kirby would be scared to do it because he's beat Saban. He's won. But there's other coaches you throw. I mean, I think Dabo could. Because he's won. He's beat Alabama twice in the national championship. The only ones that I would, I'd added Shane Beamer. I don't know if he would, but it's gonna be a tough job. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury would.
Hey, I like Shane Beamer, but are you serious about Shane Beamer at Alabama though?
No. I liked how he ended the season last year. I thought they were going to start really, really hot. I think I had them going 9-3 or 8-4 this year. So a good season because they got two really good teams in the East above them, and they started with North Carolina, and they got Clemson too at the end of the year. So they got a schedule on him. I really like his ability to recruit. I don't know, did Harbor play at all for him?
Who?
Because that's a big recruit there. I mean, 6'5".
I don't know if he played or not. Man, that game ticked me off, bro. I drunk the South Carolina juice, and they did not. That offensive line is horrible.
This was
man.
before the game. I put Beamer in there. This is before the game. I put Beamer on my list before the game, and now I'm repealing him.
Dude, one game. You're gonna let one game define somebody, dude. Come on.
I just realized it was premature to put him in there.
Now, daggum, Matt Brown put him in a chokehold after the game. That was hilarious. But
that's super hilarious.
But well, yeah, I thought it was overall a great week 1, but we can't wait for week 2. So I'm ready. But thanks again for having us on, Nick Saban Jr. I always enjoy coming on your show, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm probably hit y'all up next week to do the same thing if y'all don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Harvard didn't play.
He is right about that. Waylon, he said we didn't even mention Glenn. Yep.
Well, he's got to have head coaching.
His first head coaching job is not going to be Alabama. So he's going to have to prove himself at like Marshall. Charles Huff. I like Charles Huff.
But y'all, it's clear to see that we all got Bama winning this game.
Yep.
Like I said, this go around, no excuses for either of us. No excuses. It's gonna be a good game. Like I said, I think Bama pull it out.
Yes, sir.
I hope it's a statement game. I feel like this would be a statement game to quiet down the talkers because it's still some talking out there. And one more question.
Lank.
What did y'all think about Ty Simpson being third string quarterback?
If he's not
Sounds
doing
great to me. I loved it.
If he's not doing what he has to do, I understand it. I'll admit I was wrong about it. Wasn't overly impressed with Buckner of his performance. I would have liked to seen Ty make a few throws, and I would have loved to seen Lonergan in there too. I was expecting 4 quarterbacks, but it took us a little longer to get out ahead by 35.
Yeah.
Before we rotated. So, and I know he wanted to give 2 drives to each, and the new clock rules really limit you from getting that many plays in. So, when will the next shot? I mean, the next game maybe USF. I don't even know if we'll be able to rotate 3 in that game, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So
let all say what is it? Let all naysayers know. You see that?
Yeah, I see it. Hey, get boxed. I just got a notification that you subscribe. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for subscribing, bro. I tell you what, I went into this weekend with 604 subscribers, and I think he just made 620 subscribers.
Wow. Awesome. And hey,
Bro,
remember to
appreciate
like and subscribe on Just Saying too podcast.
Yes, just saying. Like I said, I matter of fact, I'm gonna repost our last show again, man. So
Appreciate
please
it. Yeah.
go to Just Saying. You gonna hear Georgia talking, Alabama talking at the same time. Both go to University of Alabama and University of Georgia. So y'all gonna get a lot of good stuff out of that. If y'all want to hear about the Georgia and the other college football talk, they go over it all, man.
And hoping to be joined by Josh and Nick Saban Jr. We may even get a Josh Pate on there one time. We'll see about that. So
Woo-woo.
it'll be a nice one. But y'all stay tuned for that show as well. But hey, we'll be back here probably next week, same time too, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, guys. Like and subscribe.
Roll Tide.
We out. Salute. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Y'all. Oh, he left.